Hey, this is Pete from Abstract Ocean. Today we're installing our XPEL armor kit for the Cybertruck Frunk interior. So we already sell the Frunk lip, you can see that on the other camera. This is to do the inside area. So we're going to sell this as two options. So option A will be just the rear walls, if you like, the upright sections. And then the full kit will include the floor of the Frunk as well. There's a couple of extra pieces over here, left and right. If you have our cargo kit installed with the L-Track cargo kit or the OEM one, we'll use these pieces. If not, then this is the section you'll use. So in the box you get this. As you can see, it's a giant piece of XPEL armor. You get the instruction sheet which links you to this video, and then you'll get the squeegee. So all you need to do really is to prep the area. I'm just going to use some standard isopropyl alcohol. You can use this, you can use like a mild soap solution, 10% soap, just like dish soap. The goal is to get any kind of greasy residue off of the plastic. It's the Frunk, it's an interior surface, it's been off-gassing since you own the truck, so there's a good chance there's going to be something on there. So this will just help with the adhesion. And then maybe a trim pry tool just to pop the rear panel off. So if we go look at the truck real quick, you can see this is our existing lip for the Frunk. Over here is the L-Track accessory, and I've removed it over this side, so this just has the standard blanking plate in there. So again, depending what you need, I'll show you both options as we do the install. That's about it. So we're going to pop this off first. We'll do this on the table, and then we'll come out here and do the rest of the Frunk. Okay, so I'm going to pop this out. You could probably do it in situ as well. Honestly, there's probably not that much advantage, but we're going to take it out anyway so we can do the floor section in a minute. So generally speaking, you just pull it out with your hands, just like that. Sometimes you need a little sort of pry tool to get under there, but it's pretty easy. And then we're going to give it a quick clean with some isopropyl. As I say, mild soap solution will work as well. Okay, not too dirty. And then fairly obvious how this goes, just like that. So it's a big piece though. You can get quite fiddly, especially when you peel back this center section. So I'm going to just start on one edge. Kind of fold that back, just so I've got a working area, but I'm not revealing the whole thing. And we're going to work on lining up this edge first. So as with every piece of armor we sell, we want to keep it inside the edge or the corner where it rolls over the edge. So that's pretty good. And just making sure it's tracking across the top, which it is. So let me grab a squeegee, which of course I do have. Look at that, crazy. So we're going to lock this in. Double check all your alignment points, looking good. Make sure you can't sort of feel the armor over the edge, because if so, you're too close to the edge. Then we're just going to peel this back some more. And we're going to sort of steer it as we go. Let's get that up out of the way. I'm really just looking at this top edge now to make sure we're still sort of tracking straight across this top, which we are. And the same across the bottom. Go a bit further. Get that out of the way. I'm going to get rid of this completely. Okay, as I say, you can do this in the truck as well. I don't think it really makes a lot of difference. Just sometimes it's easier if you have a table like this, which obviously not everyone does, but if you do, then it just makes it easier. And if you're going to do the floor section, you do need to remove this anyway, just so you have more access to get each of these pieces nicely lined up. Okay, with that piece done, let's go out to the truck and do the rest of the walls, and then we'll go on to the floor. Okay, we're all set up outside now, so we're going to start on this side. The reason being, we have this emergency exit button, so it helps us with the alignment of this piece. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, And then if you bought the floor section, we'll get to that in the second part of the video. So first thing, give it a quick clean. As I mentioned, you can use isopropyl alcohol, mild soap solution. The goal is just to get any sort of significant debris off, but mostly to make sure there's no greasy residue, either from trim cleaner, just from off-gassing, from manufacturing, or whatever. Just anything that will inhibit the adhesion of the product. Okay, and with that done, let's get started on this back section. My hands are clean, make sure yours are when you start. And then we're going to, for this piece, we're going to line across the top and into this corner. So I'm just going to place this here. Again, just sort of below where the radius of this curve is in the plastic. Try again. As you can see, and you'll know this if you've bought other pieces from us, you can just, it's basically peel and stick. It's not like traditional PPF, so we're not going to use any heat. We're just going to use a squeegee, which of course I have over there, and we're just going to sort of maneuver it into place. So now this top section is locked in. I'm just going to kind of let it sort of naturally fall and just see if it's tracking perfectly over here. If it is, then we're good. I'm going to say that's pretty good. So give that a good squeegee. If you have any trapped bubbles, maybe you can see one there. Just peel it back rather than trying to force it out. It's just easier that way. Okay, so quick alignment check. So we're sort of following this curve nicely. We're clean across this bottom section here, evenly spaced from the floor, and then obviously this edge here and across the top. So now we're going to do this piece. This is a weird shape, obviously. Now it's designed, all of our armor kits are designed that when they're correctly placed, there's no sort of stretching or pulling or anything else needed. So getting the alignment right on this piece is quite important, I guess is my point. I'm not even sure what my point was, kind of got lost. So where I'm looking now, I'm looking at the button, and then this top corner or this top section here. I'm trying not to touch behind here though, just because it's, you know, the narrower the piece gets, the less adhesion surface there is. So it's just better to hold on to it elsewhere. But with that said, I'm going to try and get this lined up. Okay, so a little far over that time. I'm going to have to stick my head in front of the camera just for a second. Sorry, it really does need to be sort of a dead straight view to see what's going on. That's better though. So you'll see now, although this looks like it's not going to fit at all, as I sort of guide it down, it tracks in pretty well and then tucks in just below the existing edge on our existing lip. Now I'm still too low here, maybe you can see that on one of the cameras, I'm not sure you can. So I'm actually going to peel this back and just try one more time just to get it a bit higher. When you peel it back, obviously be careful not to stretch it, especially on the narrow sections around the button. Okay, that seems better to me. So again, just track that down. Steer it a little bit if you need to, just to kind of get it around the corner. Find a squeegee. So you can see I've got a giant bubble trap there. So I'm going to peel it back probably here. Actually no, I'm going to peel it back here. Let's just release that, kind of squeegee it as we go, now that we know we've got the top section sort of locked in to the right spot. Okay, let's get over that side. Okay, so same thing, I've already cleaned the area, so we'll do the back panel first. This is pretty easy, this piece. We're just going to line up all the edges again. That looks pretty good. Grab a squeegee. This time I'm going to help it down, just so we don't get any bubbles, because I'm pretty good with the positioning on that. Perfect. Again, just run your finger across this edge or this corner to make sure that you can't tack it. You can see maybe I can there a little bit. So it doesn't matter because, you know, this is an internal surface, but I do want the alignment to be perfect. So I'm going to just peel that back. Try again. When I design these pieces, every adjustment, every iteration is either a millimeter or a fraction of a millimeter. So, you know, as I mentioned, these kits are designed certainly for DIY, but they have a little bit of tolerance built in as well for alignment and stuff like that. So don't aim for perfection, but do aim for 95%. That is good. This piece next. Okay, so we don't have our button to align to this time, so we're just going to have to kind of follow the natural symmetry of this edge. So we're going to line up the top corner here and then just make sure the gap down here is pretty much symmetrical. So I'm going to place it. When you're doing this, you'll want to be sort of have your head in the frunk. I'm trying not to, so you can at least see something that's going on. But it's a little bit tricky doing it this way. Okay, so that's my first attempt at getting it lined up. So now I'm going to see how this looks like it's tracking. That is pretty good. So I'm going to grab my squeegee. I got lucky with that piece. This side does take longer typically because you don't have the button to kind of clue you in a bit better. But anyway, there you go. Now I'm not going to snap the back panel on yet, so stay tuned if you want to see the sort of finished product, but we're going to do the floor next and then we'll put the back panel back on. Okay, we're going to do the floor now. So depending on your, whether you have the L-track cargo net accessory, I'll flash up a quick photo now. You'll either have this section installed on both sides, or if not, you'll have the factory blanking plate. So I'll show you both as part of the installation. And obviously the layout aligns with this. So there's 33 pieces in total. This is the middle bit, and we're just going to kind of work our way through. I'm going to clean the surface real quick. I'm going to do a few of these at regular speed, but you'll get pretty bored watching me do all 33 sections. So I'll do the bits that matter, which is we'll get started in the middle. We'll do around the L-track accessory, around the standard blanking plate, and then I'll speed through the rest of it and catch up with you at the end. But again, just making sure, especially the rotation is quite tight on these raised sections. There's not much of a radius on the corner. So really do try and make sure that you're cleaning those edges pretty good, because we do wrap it all. And again, we want to make sure that it stays stuck. Okay, so I'm going to start with the center section, which is this. Okay, so for all of these sections, you'll see it's kind of just a rounded shape, but it lines up perfectly with the end like that. So hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to just pull this back, put it the length of the raised area in this case. Get it all the way to the end there. Then find your squeegee. And then for these where it rolls over the corner. We really want to get a nice tight roll, so I'm going to use my thumb just to kind of start it over. And when you do this, you can make sure that you're centered as well. If you find you have a bit too much on the left or right, then just peel it back and go again. And I'm going to use my fingers just to get the bulk of it down. This is a pretty tedious process, and you may want to get a rag or something to do this, because otherwise your thumb is going to get pretty worn out one way or another. And we do want to make sure we've applied enough pressure. We don't want this lifting. But as you can see, that's the center bit. So now I'm going to do the bit to the right of that. So this is kind of the inverse of the shape. So we're going to lay it in the gap, align it, and we're just sort of going to push that to the back, get that locked in. And same thing, just going to pull it down, keeping it straight, keeping it sort of dead center in the channel. And laying that down, finding a squeegee, which I already lost. Okay, let's do the other side now. So same thing, just kind of sort of slide it into place, if you like. It's probably a bad term, but you'll see what I mean when you do it. Get it locked in up here, pull it taut, but don't stretch it. Just make sure it's dead center in that channel all the way down. You can use either side of the squeegee for this. I'm using the soft side mostly so that the audio doesn't get too cluttered up. Okay. So that's how you do those sections. I'm going to do the rest of these at I'm going to fast forward through until we get to these sections up here and up here. Okay, coming out fast forward, so the only sections that are left are this piece here, which we're going to do now. So if you do not have the cargo net for your frunk, I'm just going to pop this trim piece out. Then we're going to get the section for that. Okay. And then we also have a small section that goes just there as well, just to kind of finish the look. Very small, looks like this. So same process, it's just a sort of a bit weird to tuck it in there. Okay, that snaps back in. So now I'm going to do the pieces around here. If you're watching the fast forward section, there's a few sections that are a little different. Every single shape is different. Obviously it's mirrored this way, but you have these longer pieces here, you have these sort of edge sections, so it'll all make sense as you apply it, but certainly you need to make sure that you're applying the right section to the right, or the right piece to the right section. And then do pay a lot of attention to these edges. Right now I've got none coming up, maybe a little over here, but these are all stuck down pretty good. Chances are real good you'll get a couple that sort of lift at the edge a little bit, but just sort of attack it with the squeegee. You sort of generate a little bit of heat while you're doing it, not too much, but then that'll make sure it stays stuck down. Okay, we'll do the other side here, and then we're going to go to the other side of the frunk and do the section 4 if you have the L-track installed. I really don't know how many trucks have the cargo net. We've sold quite a lot, so I assume between us, Tesla and the other third-party or aftermarket sellers, there's a bunch of them out there. Definitely useful. Obviously we always have our tyre inflator in the frunk. Okay, so let's come over here now. So we don't wrap the L-track panel, so we're just going to do these two bits either side. They're essentially the same as on the other side, except this edge, maybe you can see it on the camera, is the hard edge. There's no sort of piece to roll over. So let's do this long section. Again, just get it placed in there. So now we're just going to track it along this edge down here of the L-track mount. And then same thing, just roll these edges over. This gets pretty tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but it is quite important to get done. You can see a couple of bits lifting here as well, so we're just gonna stay on top of those, and eventually you'll get them all the bits you basically missed during the install. And obviously I'm rushing through this a little bit. So on this side as well, just tuck it in, then track it down the edge, like so. Roll it over the edges. Now the very last piece I'm going to show you is in this corner here. It's just a very awkward bit to do. So obviously this bit fits in the corner. I'm going to use the squeegee as kind of just a help to get it placed. And I'm doing this backwards so that you can see what I'm doing. So this is all kinds of awkward, but the whole point is just kind of float it in there until it's more or less in the right position. And really I'm just looking at this edge where it meets this piece here, so this edge here. Just kind of drift it in there. So I'm making this look so much more awkward than it actually is, but it is a little bit awkward still. That looks good. And then we're just going to use fingers to finish that off. Okay, all that's left is to snap this back into place. And there you have it. That is the XPEL armor kit for your Cybertruck Frunk. Thank you for watching. Okay, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up, excuse me. So you can see I've got a couple of edges lifting here, and I'm not surprised because I kind of rushed the install earlier for the video. So, you know, just kind of re-stick them down. If you find they keep lifting, then my recommendation is to park the truck in the sun with the frunk open, and then that way it'll just kind of warm up the film a little bit, and then you can just do this same process again, but the adhesive will be much tackier. So right now it's about 75 outside, but obviously the sun isn't on the material. But certainly if you find these edges lifting up, then just go ahead, do that, or if you're not anywhere warm or sunny, just use a hairdryer or a paint gun on, or a heat gun on low setting, just to kind of soften up the film and reactivate the adhesive. Push it down and then it'll stay. All right, thanks for watching.